people and other people that maybe I don't know. So I'll introduce myself. So my name is Debbie Lahav. I'm an occupational therapist and an expert when working with people with dementia and the caregivers, family caregivers, the foreign caregivers. And because of the situation we're in, we decided to have some different lectures that we're giving out on how to deal with the problem behaviors of people with dementia, especially in these difficult times. And also, today I'm going to talk about, that's why you're here, I think, how we can help reduce stress, your stress, and also your employer's stress, the person that you're taking care of. Because in addition to the regular difficulties with the dementia that you might be having, your employer might have difficult times from every so once in a while or more or less, because of the war that's on now, and the people that are living all over the country, especially in the South or in the North. And for you, I'm sure that weren't, where you came from, it was nice and quiet. You weren't used to having sirens. And it's something very, that causes additional life. Instead of just the daily stress, it causes extra additional stress to your life, like it causes everyone in this country. So today I'm going to talk about to understand the stress, to understand how it works, how does it affect everyone individually, because it affects us individually, the stress that we're going through, and also the stress that we're having, especially now. And then I'm going to spend most of the time talking about different things that you can do for yourself, because if you're not calm, it's very difficult to calm someone else. So we'll talk about a lot of things that you can do for yourself, but some of these same things you can do with your employer. So I'm going to talk about the things for you, things for your employer, like if I'm talking about the breathing techniques, so I'll go more into detail of breathing techniques for you, but also we'll talk about how you can get your employer to breathe when they don't have to really think about it that much, okay? So I'm going to bring all kinds of ideas that I hope that you'll at least take a few ideas that can help you for yourself and for your employer. Because I know that I also listen to things and I hear lots of ideas, but if you even take one thing from this lecture that you can say, well, this I'm going to start doing for myself and for my employer, this can really help you, okay? So now I'm going to start with the PowerPoint. And like the name of the lecture is To Breathe, Relax, and Flow. So we're going to see how we can do this. But first of all, when we're talking about being a caregiver, there's burden. We all have burden in our life, but to be a caregiver for someone is additional burden. And there's subjective burden, the burden that you have to take care of someone and you have to make sure that they wake up and you have to give them a shower and get them ready for the moadon or make their meals, put them to bed, give them the medication, do things with them maybe that they don't want to do. And then there's the subjective burden. How does this affect you? Do these things that you're doing, this burden, and you have burden maybe with your family, how does this affect you emotionally? Okay, so we're going to talk about this. And this burden affects us and it causes us stress. Okay, when we have stress is something when we as people or animals see danger our body gets into the stress mode. The stress mode is, and people, some of you that have heard my talks before, it'll be some repeat, and hopefully you'll get some new things from this. It's we have fight or flight, usually, or play dead. So to order to be able to fight the danger or run away from that, our body gets into the mode with adrenaline and cortisol and different hormones that prepare us to deal with danger, to deal with a life-threatening situation. Okay. But a lot of times in our life, we are not in a life-threatening situation. Now we maybe are more, but every little thing might trigger, in some of us, stress. Every little problem we see is a difficulty, and our body goes into stress mode. And the stress affects our body. We'll talk about this in a minute. Our mind, our thoughts. Sometimes I think something, and then all of a sudden, and then it straight goes away to my body, and my body gets in stress, and then emotionally I'm stressed, and then my behavior is a stress behavior. And we have to be aware of this. We have to be aware of the things that are causing this, what happens to us, and to maybe be more in control and maybe be aware. The more I'm aware of these things, maybe I can help reduce my stress. It's not easy, but part of this is awareness. And the more you get used to, like the first time maybe you heard the siren, you were really in stress. Now that you know, you have a routine and what to do and how you have to, be prepared with things ahead of time to put maybe your employer in his wheelchair and go out into the hall or something. These are things that you can learn and train and then overcome your immediate stress, okay? And sometimes not. It's not easy. So now I want to talk just a minute about the body. So the stress first goes, I said, thoughts. I might just see something, think something, and then already the body, it goes to the body because the body automatically, and it's not something I'm thinking, I'm in stress now and my body's going to be in stress. No, it's something that's automatic. And the body goes into, it's called the sympathetic system, and then it affects the body, different parts of the body. And so I want you just all to look at this picture of the body and to think, what parts of the body are stressful for you? Where does the stress go? Does it go to your head? Does it go to your shoulders, to your throat, to your chest, to your back, to your stomach? Everyone has different areas in the body where the stress goes. And it's important to also be aware of this because if it happens too much, then this can be dangerous. Another thing that's dangerous when we have the stress is, please everyone put on mute, okay? So we don't have any distractions, so I won't be in stress. Thank you. So when our body gets in the stress mode, and I said we have the adrenaline and cortisol, these are stress hormones. But also when the stress goes away, when the danger goes away, we go back to normal. But a lot of times the adrenaline goes away, but the cortisol gets stuck in our body and it doesn't go away. So later we're going to talk about ways and learn ways that you can get rid of the cortisol, because the cortisol also causes chronic diseases. So that's why they say if you have a lot of stress, it affects your body, and it can cause it can cause high blood pressure, diabetes, all kinds of things. So we have to be aware of this, okay? Because this is a way of protecting yourself now and in the future. Okay. And besides our body, also emotionally, how do we react to stress? Do I scream? Do I get depressed? Sometimes we freeze and I don't do anything. Some people cry, some people chew their nails, or like really just their whole body gets nervous. And some people, like the Mona Lisa here, just kind of, everything's okay, but they keep their stress in their body. and we might not see that they're in stress, but also, some people don't get in stress, but almost all of us are human, and we do have these things that causes stress. So it's important to be aware how we react to stress. And also, how does your employer react to stress? When they're in stress, when they're in anxiety, when they're anxious, do they shout at you? Are they depressed and they don't do anything? Do they cry? Are they nervous and they can't really tell you what's wrong, but we see this behavior problems, anger maybe, violence, all kinds of things, because that's their way of reacting to the stress, to the anxiety because of the confusion of dementia. So it's also important to be aware of how we react and how does your employer react. Maybe they're reacting this way because they can't really talk now, but they hear the siren and they remember it from when they were young. And they can't tell you this, but they react. They feel maybe the tension with everyone else. It could be all kinds of things. So also be aware of how your employer and their family and your family reacts to the stress. And with being aware of that, we have to notice what are the causes of our stress. Maybe my stress is when I have to give my employer a bath and I know that it's going to be a fight. Okay. And I have a technique and everything, but sometimes maybe I'm in stress because I know they get angry or they might grab me or something. And this I know happens. So we have to be aware. It can be just when I get a telephone from the daughter, then maybe I think, well, maybe she's going to say something, ask me, why did I do this or why didn't I do this? Maybe. Like one daughter told me once, whenever she got a telephone from the metapelet of her father, she always got in stress because she thought, well, maybe something happened. Maybe her father fell down, maybe, okay. So we have all these different things that cause us to think of something might be happening when it might really not, okay. And the stress could be, I'm afraid because there was a siren and I'm afraid, well, there might be another siren. What do I do? Okay, so and we have many different things that can cause us stress, but we have to be aware of try to think what causes us the stress. And then there's something that's called the circle of control. And we have to think of what is in the circle. What do I have control of? Okay. I have control of maybe how I can, if there is a siren, what I can do with my employer. Okay. How I can, I know that I have to be in control of making sure that we either go in the safe room or go in the hall or whatever. But I'm not in control of the situation. I'm not in control of the war. I'm not in control of all kinds of things. So we have to know what is in our circle of control and what's not in our control, because things that aren't in our control, we have to kind of worry less about that, because even if it's our problem, but it's not our problem. So this is just something to think about. And with all this said and done, and I hope you're not too much in stress just for me talking about stress. We're going to talk now about how can we cope, the positive ways of coping. And there's all kinds of things. And I'm sure that a lot of us, people have natural ways that we cope. Some people cope better. Some people have their ways of coping and some people don't. Okay. So because some people are more sensitive. So people that are less sensitive, well, I'm going to just do things and I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm not emotional. Some people are more sensitive. Okay. So we also have to be aware of this, but there's all kinds of things that we can do. So now I want to talked about what causes the hormones that causes stress. And we want to talk about what can reduce the stress, what can relax us. And we have the vagus nerve. It's from the brainstem down to our large intestine. And there's all kinds of things that we can do to stimulate, to awaken the vagus nerve, to calm us down. And things that we'll talk about will how can you calm yourself down and your employer. Okay, one simple way is washing your face with cold water. Maybe, I don't know, maybe your employer doesn't like cold water, but at least you can wash your face with cold water. The cold water helps us stimulate the vagus nerve. You can drink cold water, or you can give, if sometimes that's the first thing. If someone is upset or nervous, automatically, either we ourselves take a glass of water or we offer someone a glass of water, right? This is, part of the human way of coping. So you can give your employer, instead of washing their face, give them first something to drink. And it can be a glass of water. I don't suggest cold water with older people because I also personally don't like to drink cold water, but just drink water that's not hot water, okay? And now we're going to do this exercise, and I want you to all join me. Put your hands behind your head and look forward. And we're just going to not to turn our face, just our eyes to the right. And we're going to wait till we get a yawn. And our eyes go back to the front. And again, we're going to turn our eyes to the right and yawn. And turn our eyes back. And you can do this when you're lying down. And with your employer, you can have them maybe tell them, just lift, we're going to lift our hands up in a minute again, but just stretch and yawn. Maybe they will copy you because yawning is stimulating. The vagus nerve goes from behind, like from our neck, behind our ear to our throat. Yawning is a way of getting more oxygen in and stimulating the vagus nerve, okay? And now another thing we're going to do that you can do for yourself or for your employer, we're going to take our fingers behind our ear and we're going to make circles. We're doing a massage behind the ear, just little circles around. And this is stimulating the vagus nerve, okay? And maybe you can do this to your employer. Maybe this can help them, okay, to relax. And now we're going to go to breathing. And when we breathe, I'm already going to tell you, when we breathe into our stomach and we put the oxygen into our stomach, it's like breathing. And sometimes it's not easy, but we're going to practice it now. It's called belly breathing. And it's like we have a balloon in our stomach and we're having the air going into our stomach. That stimulates the vagus nerve because it goes through our stomach also. So here are all kinds of breathing exercises. Before we do the breathing technique with the inhale and outhale and different kinds of techniques, I want to talk about how we can, if you want your employer to breathe. Some people, we can tell them, just breathe deeply, take a breath, right? People tell, just take a breath. But some people forget how to breathe. They breathe, but automatically, but how do I take this inhale and exhale? And a great idea that I've heard of before, and so we have this picture here, so you'll remember the picture, is to smell a flower. Pretend you're smelling a flower and blowing out a candle. Smell it. And then what you can do with your employer, you can bring them just a fake flower, and if you want them to smell, automatically, like a baby, when you give a baby a flower, a small baby from a year old or more, they take the flower and automatically smell. It's something that's automatic, but I can take some perfume that the person likes and put it on the flower. And now, when they inhale, they smell this good smell. And then they take even a deeper breath. And then we say, blow it out, like blowing out a candle. And we can show a candle also. And just to to give them the trigger how to start it. And again, inhale and exhale. This is good for you. Before I put the same perfume that I like, I put it on myself. And also, you can put perfume on yourself if you want to practice breathing. This is another trick to help you. And you just inhale and exhale, or put it on a flower or a piece of tissue or something. But this is a great, simple idea to get everyone to breathe deeply. I like to breathe, there's all different breathing techniques. I'm going to talk about a few different ones. I like to do a breathing technique that I put my right hand on my heart, my left hand on my stomach. You can do this with your employers also. And if they don't know which hand, because I do this with people with dementia at daycare, and a lot of people can do this. Or I'll just take their hand and I'll put it here because maybe they don't know right, left. And I'll just put the right hand on their heart, on their chest, and the left hand on their stomach around where the belly button is. And just inhale and exhale. And and with our hand on our heart, we're taking our thoughts down to our heart. And our attention goes from thoughts to wherever we're touching. So it goes to my heart, which is very important, and on my stomach. And so I inhale through my nose, and you can see what's written here at count to 4. You can hold your breath a few seconds and exhale, either through your mouth. Inhale through your nose. Now hold a few seconds and exhale. And you repeat this deep breathing a few times, and it already helps you. If you even take 3 or 4 deep breaths, here it says 4 times, this really helps you reduce stress. And also, if we have people who are anxious and have anxiety, and the situation we have now causes even more anxiety, the more we exhale, like here, it's called a box breathing, or it's a 4-7-8 technique. There's variations on this. I inhale 4, I hold 7, and exhale 8. And then the more I exhale, the calmer I will be. Okay. You can have your employer, you can get bubbles and have them blow bubbles. And that's a way of exhaling. You can give them a balloon. Maybe they can try to blow up a balloon. Okay. That's another thing that you can do. Something I saw yesterday for kids to breathe, you make something like this, put beads on them, on this little heart thing of this wire. It's called, can't remember the name in English, but these, at the craft store, and it just has beads. I just put beads on it, and you inhale and exhale, and inhale and exhale. Or you can have something like this and just have people count, okay? And when you count, I put my attention on the counting and not on my anxiety and stress. Okay, so this is another tip. I just have lots of beads at home, and they're called pipe cleaners, I just remembered. And pipe cleaners, but this is another thing that you can make. To make simple things to help people breathe. And also, here's another example. This is used for children, but we could all use it. You have I got from Google Pictures just a minute ago. So you put your finger, it's on a rainbow, and you can even make like a rainbow picture, and you breathe in and you go like this with your finger on the red, and then I go to the yellow and breathe out. Breathe in. This might be good for you. It's an easy way of putting my attention on my breathing. So I hope you like these ideas, and maybe one of them you'll adopt. And so the breathing is the basic. Everyone talks about breathing is the basic thing when we want to reduce stress and anxiety, to breathe. And Exercise is wonderful. Using our body is the basic way of reducing stress. Exercise could be any kinds of exercises, and we'll do a few simple exercises that you can do with your employer, but also maybe your employer, they do exercises. Walking reduces stress. It's wonderful. Dancing. So maybe if your employer is anxious, or when you want to calm them down after there is a siren or whatever, so you'll put music on, and maybe you'll just even take their hands and start dancing. I know a lot of you do this. Okay, so we want to exercise, walk, and dance, and also for you. Okay, everything I'm saying, it's for you and for your employer. So everyone has their kind of physical activity that you might enjoy. I like dancing and walking. And also, there's all different, people talk about yoga now as the main stress reducing exercise. All exercise can reduce stress. Tai Chi from China, Qigong from China, yoga, a lot of the exercises that came from the East, where most of you came from. And walking, which we all do since man started standing on 2 feet and walking. And I know a lot of you take your employers out for a walk. It's wonderful. And, you can walk in the morning, in the afternoon. Walking is great to reduce stress. Okay, so now we're going to go to some more physical exercises, and it's stretching. When you stretch, and you can breathe in or breathe, just stretching reduces stress, okay? Because when we're in stress, we're like, a lot of times like this. So you want to stretch, and you want your employer to stretch, and they can take a band, an elastic band, and stretch. They can take, I don't have the bottle here, but let's say pretend I have a bottle or something in my hand. I just lift this up, anything to stretch, and from side to side. It gets the tension that we have in our body, it opens up. And at the Qigong class that I was at last week, and she was talking about also doing rotations with all of our body parts, okay? With all of our joints. Once we do a lot of the cells and the energy in the body, in Chinese medicine, they call it the qi, gets stuck in our joints. And when we're in stress, it gets even more stuck. When we do rotations in our joints, it's a way of opening up these blockages that we have, and it opens up the energy, okay? So it's good for us, and it's good for your employers. And if you can do it together, it's good for both of you. And we want to do it with the joints of our hands, with the joints of our feet, okay? So stretching, rotations. Now, we have the ball. I have a ball here somewhere. Okay, I have the same ball. So when we also, another exercise that's good for reducing stress is to inhale, to make a fist, and you can, kind of make your whole body like tense, and then exhale and relax. It's called active relaxation. Inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Again, this is a great exercise to do with your employer. And you can maybe give them 2 little balls or something to go like this with, okay? Anything that also can help them, like to make stress, to squeeze and to release can be good. I have, a big ball, and you can squeeze the ball and release, and squeeze and release. And this might be good because it's something bigger, and then they get like their anger out and release it. Or all these little toys, these squishy toys. And sometimes if you just give your employer, when they're sitting in the chair and not doing anything, just something in their hand, either a squishy toy or a ball or something. And when they're doing this helps them relax, okay? When they're doing this. It's active relaxation. And now we're going to go to the dog who's shaking. Like a lot of animals that are being attacked, and once the danger goes away, or even before it goes away, they shake. And when they shake, they get rid of their tension. They get rid of the cortisol, which I said is like when it's stuck in your body, it's causing lots of damage. Also, when you dance, you get rid of cortisol. All exercises help get rid of it, but shaking is great. So let's just even sit in the chair. And this is something you can do for yourself. In Qigong, they do this and all kinds of things. You can just stand up and dance and shake. I'm not going to stand up right now, so because I want you to kind of see me here. But you can just shake your hands. Just shake your hands. Shake it out. Okay? We want to shake out the tension. And this you can do with your employer. Just have them shake a little bit. Okay? And for you, just pretend, and they can tell them also, pretend you just have water. Let's shake it out. And this is good, and it's healthy, and all kinds of things. Okay? So shaking is wonderful. And now we're going to go up to the picture up here and tapping. There's all kinds of tapping points that help reduce stress. We're just going to do some, we're not going to go on all the points. If there's anything here that interests you, all of these things I'm talking about, you can look on YouTube. They have all of these things in English in YouTube, all of these techniques, the shaking, the stretching, the vagus nerve, the breathing, and tapping. So one of the main places to tap is here. This is a way of waking up and of releasing tension, okay? And if I tap here and I go, ah, and I let some, I open up my voice, ah, I release stress. The vagus nerve goes through here. I relax, I wake up, and when I make noise from my mouth, either if I sing or I do the ah, and I have some vibration or humming, this activates the vagus nerve. Okay, so there's all kinds of things that kind of together help us reduce the tension. Now I'm going to continue, and we're going to go talk about grounding and mindfulness. Grounding is a lot of times when we're anxious, we feel that we're disconnected. And a lot of times you might see with your employer and the person with dementia, whoever was with me in the seminars, I talk about this, that they're not connected. So we want to ground them, but we want to ground ourselves. And this is one of the basic things that people talk about with stress. You want to do grounding things that ground you, that you can stand, like the picture down here, you can stand barefoot. Okay, you can go to the beach, go walk on a path, be outside, walk on grass. These are the greatest ways you can walk barefoot in your house. It's great to ground this way. And with your employers also, you don't necessarily are going to take their shoes off, but when they're doing feet exercises, even when they walk, that's grounding. When they're dancing, it's grounding because they're connected to the ground. And even when they're sitting in the seat and we want them, and we have, we're doing exercises with them, I march, and I want them to march. When I do this helps them, especially if I say stomp hard. This is a way of grounding. Okay, so grounding to help them connect to themselves and reduce the stress and anxiety. Okay. Here is a grounding, another grounding exercise with a breathing that you pay attention that you're connected to the ground. Inhale, exhale, inhale into your stomach, and imagine also that your feet are connected to the ground. And there's some exercises that talk about you imagine your roots connecting. And once you have strong roots, once you're connected, you have lots of confidence. You have less fear. Okay, so these are things that you can say, I'm not going to work on fear, but I do it physically, and it works on giving me more strength, more confidence. And now we're going to go to other kind of grounding and mindfulness activities for you and for your employer. Mindfulness is paying attention and being in the here and now to what's around, not thinking what was, not thinking what was, what will be, because then we worry and then we get anxious and we get stressed. Is to be in the here and now. And so, and a lot of things in mindfulness, and we're going to go through all of the senses in a minute. Just, you know, they tell you this is a great thing. So if you remember this, and if you don't remember, you can look in Google or look in the YouTube. You have to look around for 5 different things. You can do this in the room now. Look for 5 different things that you can see. Okay. So my attention goes to looking for 5 different things. Then you have to go and touch 4 different things. And then listen to 3 different things. Like I hear the radio, I hear my voice, and I hear the wind outside and the birds. Okay, so this is things that I can hear, 3 things that I can hear. Find 2 things that you can smell. I can smell perfume. And I'm going to go through all of these senses and give out more ideas. You hear the bird? And taste 1 thing. And I'm going to taste my tea right now. So this is also a really easy thing to just remember. Grounding techniques, mindfulness, using the senses. Okay, now we're going to go to first our vision. Okay. And again, some of you might have seen these pictures before, but you can look at them again and just look at all of the pictures and see where your attention goes, what attracts you today, okay? And notice the color, the shape. Just put your attention there. Maybe how you feel when you're looking at this. What the color that you chose, how does it make you feel? Okay. So just looking, we just have to open up our eyes to the world, to whatever is out there, because they're beautiful things. It's like when I went outside right before I started, all of a sudden I saw these flowers blooming. And I went outside a few times today, but then just before I started here, I saw this. So I picked these flowers. And also, I know in a lot of places, even in the cities, there's flowers that are blooming and different shrubs and public places or by people's houses. And you can either look at the flower, you can take a picture, or if you want to bring it to your employer, or if you're taking a walk, you can show it to them. And some things, they're just like out there and you can pick them. And maybe you were outside, so you pick something and you bring to show your employer. Because you want things that attract your attention and make you feel good. And you want things that will attract their attention. So let's talk about what kind of things. We talked about color now. So there might be different colors that stimulate. There's colors that relax. There's colors that wake people up. It's like the turquoise background of my slides. I really like it. It's like the sea. There's different color ribbons, okay? And maybe I have something of different colors, like the rainbow colors, and we can look at all the colors. And what color, do you like? What color do you want to have in your life? I chose today to wear this light pink because I think this is a good color for the things that we're going through, to have something soft and loving and hopeful. Okay, this is what pink is for me. This soft pink is for me. So everyone choose the colors and see what your employers like, what kind of things attract their attention, can attract their attention when they're anxious. So I want to look at different things. So I'm going to bring ideas, all kinds of things that you can collect for yourself, but also collect for them. I have like a basket here with all kinds of things I put in to share with you. And you can have things in a basket or a little box or something, or a drawer, that when you know that your employer is going to be anxious, what kind of things will stimulate the different senses. It might be looking at a picture, an old picture that they enjoy looking at. So this is a way to attract their attention, to look at things that they enjoy looking at, to look at flowers, to look at whatever, to look at nature, okay? So we want to get things that will attract their attention, okay? And then music, listening things. Maybe they can hear the birds outside, okay? If we go for a walk, have them pay attention to the different sounds, you know, because maybe you're just walking and they don't say anything and you don't say anything, but going outside can be a sense, this is therapeutic, okay? And to make them aware of what's outside. Also, if we go outside with them, look at the clouds, look at the birds, look at the, okay? Listen, look, okay? And I'm sure you all know, but I'm gonna talk about it. What music and what sounds do you enjoy hearing? And make sure that you listen, especially when you're in a stress, more stress now, that you have your songs, you have your things, the sounds that you enjoy hearing, and also for your employer. And not just certain times of the day, have it on hand that maybe if you have to go into the safe room, that you have the music that they enjoy. You have different things that they can touch, them, hear, taste, whatever, okay? So this is really important. And we know if we find the exact music that they like, the song or the songs, this can calm them down or wake them up and get them happy. And if they listen to the music and sing to the music, just listening is calms the people down, they wakes them up, it gets them in a good mood. And when they sing, it's stimulating the vagus nerve and it's doing even more relaxing, okay? So music. Now I want to talk about taste and smell, okay? Smell, we said it can be perfume, but there's all kinds of herbs we can smell. And a lot of times old people, when they lose the sense of smell, the food doesn't taste so good. So that's why I'm putting these together. I'm going to talk a little bit about the herbs. We have all kinds of herbs here. And a lot of you, maybe you're living in private homes or maybe in the garden near you, you know, where you go sit down, maybe you'll find there's different herbs there, natural herbs. I'm going to talk about the herbs that relax and the herbs that wake people up but get you in a good mood. And everyone has different things that they enjoy to smell. So we want to talk about therapeutically, and we also want to talk about when I smell, like when I smell this perfume that I put on, it's called Happy. And this is a perfume that I got from my mother. Okay, I learned about this perfume from my mother, so it connects me to my mother. So it has a sentimental value also. So we want to see what kind of things. In the middle here, the picture is Melissa. The Melissa is a very relaxing herb to smell it and also to drink. So we connect the herbs and the food, especially drinking. So if you can drink tea with Melissa, it's very calming. I have, what else did I bring here? This is Louisa or verbena. Smells like lemon. It has a great smell. And also if you give your employer something, or you have smells that you like, but also if you give it to them and they smell it, it has some herbs have really strong smells. And this is, I think it's a beautiful smell. And it's like lemon, but it's relaxing. When you drink the tea of verbena, it's relaxing tea. We have mint. Mint, when I smell, also, maybe, you know, this is relaxing when I smell, but it helps me, it puts my attention on smelling and I breathe better. Excuse me. Okay, so you want to have maybe mint for your employer, have their attention, maybe because not all smells they can smell strong, but mint is a strong smelling herb. But if you drink mint tea, it's relaxing, okay? So this wakes you up and it's also a relaxing tea. Now I'm going to bring this. This is geranium, scented geranium. Has also a strong smell. Some people like it, some people don't. But this is a relaxing herb. And you can just put even one leaf in tea. My husband, he has a friend that comes and drinks his coffee with this. Some people have these different herbs that were part of their culture from their childhood. Okay, so people like to drink mint tea, so we'll have them because this will be comforting for them because it's also something that's familiar and they enjoy it. We have the sweet basil, holy basil. This is in India, it's called the holy basil, which is a wonderful smell. And especially the Yemenite people, the Temanim, they also, this is one of their favorite herbs that they have in all of their gardens. And an herb that arouses people and wakes them up. And we want to maybe wake people up, okay? And have their attention is rosemary. So rosemary, and you have these in a lot of the parks and the gardens around Israel, wakes the person up. So when you hold these things and smell it for you and your employer, so you'll choose the things that you enjoy. And also things that wake people up, but it's a smell that they enjoy are the different citrus fruits, the lemon, the tangerine or mandarin orange or clementino, like we call it in Israel, and just to peel the peel, and you smell it, it wakes people up, but it gets them in a good mood, okay? Other different herbs that maybe you have, they have a lot in India, maybe in the Philippines, Sri Lanka, or where all the spices came from, you have maybe cloves, okay? And cloves have a strong smell. And then I can take cloves and I can put it into this clementina. And a lot of people used to smell cloves in their home. I know it, my family on Yom Kippur, when you fasted, used to smell cloves because it helps wake you up when you're fasting, okay? So you can just take some cloves and you can put it in an apple or something. And then maybe your employer is going to enjoy this smelling. And I'm smelling the tangerine and the clove. A lot of you like cinnamon, and other people also might like the smell of cinnamon. Cinnamon's the smell of my grandmother's cakes. Everything sweet in our family, we put cinnamon and sugar. Smell of roses. So all of these things can help wake us up and relax. So tea with cinnamon, with cloves, chai, tea with rose tea, chamomile tea is relaxing, and lavender. We'll talk about lavender in just 1 minute. And food, just eating any kind of food can be something that puts our focus. We're mindful to the flavors, to the taste. Here, there's foods that are relaxing, foods that help people relax. There are also foods for the brain and relaxation. The same. Chocolate, dark chocolate, blueberries, salmon, avocado. Now is the avocado season. All of the berries, oranges, different teas, green leaf, like spinach and things, nuts, ginger. I drink my tea with ginger, lemon, honey, and cloves. And I also have verbena in here. So I have power-packed relaxation tea. So there's all kinds of things that you can, and if you know that your employer, when they're anxious, they like certain things to eat, so you'll bring them whatever they like, even if it relaxes them. It's a relaxing food or not, but it relaxes them, it calms them down, okay? So this is what we want to know. So now I'm going to talk just a minute about the lavender. Lavender is one of the basic relaxation herbs, and we can smell it. We massage with this, and we can smell it with all different ways. Like there's here the picture. I have also a bag of lavender flowers. So this can be for you and for your employer. They have lots of research on people with dementia that we want to relax them, have them smell lavender or give them a lavender hand massage. So when I have this bag of lavender, and I can give this to my employer, and I tell them just do like this, it wakes up the smell. The smell can last for years, but I just have to kind of go like this and smell. And I can take a few breaths with the lavender, and it will help me calm down. Just breathing it like this. I can take lavender oil, which I have here, which you can buy in any super farm. You can take lavender oil, and you can maybe even put it when in an infuser that you put a candle and have the vapors of the lavender. You can smell it, or you can maybe put it on. I can have this also. I can just open it and have my employer smell it, or I can put it on a tissue. Okay. So you can try different things. And I also suggest taking lavender oil and putting it in cream, like any hand cream, 10 drops of lavender oil into this 50 cc. And so when I give my employer or myself massage, all of these tips are for you too. And I use it for myself. This is my hand cream, my body cream. And when you have hand creams or body cream, automatically you do massage. So I have lavender here. I'm doing touch, doing massage, relaxation massage, and you can do this with your employer. And this is a way to help them relax, and also it can relax you too. It's like a double win-win situation. And now I talked about touch. So touch is another sense, one of the 5 senses that can help us relax. If we touch a baby, if we pet a dog, if someone touches us. So some of you, like maybe just giving yourself a massage. Maybe you have a friend that can give you a massage. And also for your employer, I'm going to show you other things that, maybe they can touch with different textures, but basic, just if you put, you can give them a hand massage, but sometimes it's just touching their shoulders. Okay. And also I want you just to take your hand and kind of massage here. Like since the war, I'm really tense here, and just kind of massage yourself here. Okay. One side and the other side. And I talked about grounding before, and with your employer, even if you just place your hands on their back, don't frighten them or anything. So I'm just going to touch you, and even put a little pressure until they feel, the touch. And it's not just like feather touch. This helps them feel grounded, your touch. And then you can just go down their arm, okay? Just down their arm on the back, okay? Or just hold them here, just hold, okay? So this gentle, but it's like touching with a little pressure, helps them ground, helps all of us feel grounded, okay? And some more things that I brought for touching. It can be things that they enjoy touching. Some people, and you have to see what they have in their house, what kind of collections. I have collections of feathers in my house. So touching a feather, different materials can help us relax. Velvet, satin are very, it helps me relax. And I showed you the squish toy. It's also soft. It's really, I really enjoy these soft squishy things. Another thing, which is an activity, but touch can be, some people want to do something with their hands. So it can be just rolling a ball of yarn. Okay. And I have feeling the touch of the yarn, rolling it, okay? And it grounds me because I'm doing something. So maybe your employer will enjoy doing something like that. And now, so we talked about all of the senses. And what I really suggest you to do is think of the different things that your employer enjoys. We'll talk about this just in a minute, but before that, we'll go out into nature because nature is a cure. The water, trees, just being in the garden, just being in the garden near the person's house, okay? Because when you're sitting among trees, and if there is water, if you go to a place where there's water, maybe it's the sea, but even just being in trees, it reduces the stress. There's something in nature that gets rid of all of the negative things of stress, all the bad stress hormones. And so just a few minutes a day, just sit and breathe and listen and look, okay, at the nature and also your employer, and, you know, make them aware also of the things that you're seeing. And it's important, this is in Hebrew, but this is prayer, and this is it's a poem about teach me, God, to bless and to pray are the secret of the leaves of the fresh fruit, of the freedom to look, to sense, to breathe, to know, and to be grateful. So everyone, it's important for you to know what is your prayer. Some of you may go to pray, but some of you may just have a prayer in your heart for yourself, for your family, for the country here. And for some people, the prayer helps, and gratitude, to be grateful because this helps us look at, you know, I'm grateful. There is a famous rabbi from a few hundred years ago. He says, if I see something beautiful, say thank you to the person who created this. Say thank you to my eyes who saw this, and say to be thankful to my soul who noticed this. Okay, so just open your eyes, be aware, be more mindful to the beautiful things, be grateful. We all have to be grateful for what we have, and this will help us deal with the situations that we are in your daily life and the difficult situation right now in Israel. So again, I'm suggesting that if you want to, maybe just think of what kind of things can help your employer. Open up the senses, help them calm down by having them pay attention to the different senses, to taste things, to smell things, to be touched, to touch, to stretch, to breathe, to shake, okay? And I wish you all a wonderful day and quiet, and I wish you to have whatever you want. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. תודה רבה לך, דבי.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And you can share with your friends. This talk today is going to be on YouTube tomorrow, and YouTube of EMDA. I think it's spelled in Hebrew and not in English. I'm going to check, but it's in the YouTube from EMDA, so you can share it. Or if you want to remember things, you can look into it. Okay.
Okay, surely.
Okay. So thank you for participating, and have a, you know,